Tonight, in just a few months, thousands of students in Maine will close the book on a major chapter in their lives.
They will go from being college seniors to college graduates. And for one student in particular, this is a time to think about how far he has traveled in his life without ever going far from home.
Take your mark.
In sports, there is no substitute for hard work.
Go!
And for the Bates College men's swimming team, the college pool on the campus in Lewiston is where the hard work gets done.
75 freestylers go.
The practice schedule alone is demanding. 5 afternoons a week for 2 hours at a time. And 3 mornings a week for 90 minutes at a time, starting at an hour when college students are not at their most energetic, 6 a.m.
They put the work in, they manage their day, and they get good at being really successful when it's hard. And that's what life is, like finding that success when it's not easy.
Every member of the team has spent a lot of time here, but Matt Charest is in a league of his own. Is it reasonable that you might be the person who has spent more time in this pool than any other human being?
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, it's a home. It's a home to me.
Matt's been on the Bates swimming team for 4 years. This season, as a senior, he was named captain, one who leads his teammates by example.
I think they look at him and say, this is a guy that's done everything that's asked of him, and he's gotten faster. So I love that as a coach, because he does what I say, and he's proved that that makes you better, and so others follow that lead.
Now here's where the personal history gets interesting. Matt Charest grew up in Lewiston. He started coming to this pool for lessons when he was just 8 years old. And one of his instructors then was the recently hired Bates swimming coach, Peter Charest.
He was intent on what he was doing, even at a young age, and he would listen and respond very quickly to what I asked him to do.
Around the age of 12, Matt began attending swim camp at this pool. One of his instructors was Vanessa Williamson, who remembers a swimmer who was not the fastest kid in the water.
He stood out, I think, more for his character and work ethic. He wasn't super talented.
The years went by, and Matt kept swimming. He spent hours, weeks, months in this pool, and he got better.
When I started high school, I was thinking, well, I may be fast enough to swim for a college team. And that's when Bates kind of got on the radar.
Bates began recruiting him when he was a sophomore in high school. Peter Charest was the team's head coach, Vanessa Williamson, the associate head coach.
He wasn't our fastest in that incoming freshman year, but we wanted him at Bates, and we put him at the top of our list just because we knew he was going to get better. And you want a kid like Matt in our program.
You guys think you know it all, but I do. Come on.
When Matt arrived at Bates, he became teammates with Kyle Kranz, who grew up in Camden and had been swimming against Matt competitively since they were both 10 years old. Give me a scouting report on Matt. What's he like as a swimmer?
He's probably the hardest worker I've ever swam with or ever been in a sport with. The kid is relentless. He comes in, doesn't make excuses, never misses practice, and really just keeps his head down and works really hard.
Here's the math. Matt Charest has been swimming in this pool just a few miles from where he grew up since he was 8 years old. He has no idea how many hours he's spent in the water here, and only the vaguest idea of how many laps he's done. You have swum thousands of miles in this pool.
Miles, yeah, exactly.
When we visited, the season was coming to an end.
Bates on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bates!
The conference championships were just days away. You've been doing this since you were a little kid. As you head to these final events of your college career, do you still get nervous?
Oh yeah. I still get nervous. Before that race, I was nervous, but the nerves are good. Like, if you're not nervous, then you're not ready.
Rolling lane 3.
The swimmer who had been diving into this pool since he was a boy in elementary school was about to lose his race with the one opponent that can never be defeated: time.
Take your mark.
All the laps, all the sacrifice, the fatigue, the joy, the wins and losses, they were all about to start fading into the past.
I know that these are some of the best memories that I'll ever have, and I'll get to carry that for the rest of my life.
Matt Charest swam all those thousands of miles in this pool.
Charest, 41.76.
And in the end, found himself right back where he began, at home. The season has come to an end for the Bates swimming team, and it was a very good one for the men. They won the Colby Bates Bowdoin title, which is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
And they finished 4th in their conference championship, one of their best showings ever. So Matt Charest ended his career on a high note.
That's good. That's always good when you can end on a high note.
And one other really interesting local connection, Vanessa Williamson, whom you heard from in the story, grew up across the river from Lewiston in Auburn. She swam at Edward Little High School, then attended Bates, taught Matt at swim camp, and is now the associate head coach. And her father was a professor at Bates. So another hometown hero.
Following in family footsteps. That's really cool.
You gotta love those community roots.